for almost 3 months, to the point where the mother commits suicide. Yeah, that's the difficult challenge for the jury. Welcome back to Law and Crime. We're covering the civil trial against Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital. Beata Kowalski is the child who was admitted to the hospital with a regional pain syndrome, just a brutal disease, and as its name suggests, very painful. The hospital separates the mom from the child, thinking the mother is mistreating or abusing the child. So now on the stand, we've been listening to the direct examination of a nurse who assessed Maya in the pediatric ICU. I can't wait to see the cross. This is the cross-examination of that witness.
Wow, with all that experience, you must have been really good at charting everything that was important, right?
I chart what I can get in there, yes.
And what's important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, if something astonishing happens, you're going to put it in there, right?
Nurses chart as much as they can get, as much as they can chart, as long as they're doing their patient care as well.
Well, why is it that, and I can approach and show the witness, from in all of your charting here over a few days, most of what you said about all the words and all the actions is never charted. Why is that?
Well, first of all, we do chart all the vital signs. We chart the meds. We chart what goes in the patient. We chart what comes out of the patient. Those are things that we for sure we chart. We get in there from the medical point of view. The other stuff, if we can get some time to put the things that some of them are glaring. The incident with Dr. Teppa, where she called her that name and she said the whole words, the whole thing. I only gave the initials, but she said everything. The reason I didn't chart that is because most of our charting that we do for that is a communication tool in the hospital. Like I wanted, if we chart that the patient got out of bed, because when physical therapy comes, they will look at the child's chart and says, oh, okay, the kid was out of bed today. So something like that is what I would convey to the ICU team, specifically to the attending that's there. And Dr. Teppa was in the room. So this was during rounds. Everybody was there. Anybody that needed to know about what that kind of those expletives, anyone was already there. There would be no reason for me to chart it. If I thought that I was going to be here where I am now, yeah, maybe I would have charted it. But Dr. Teppa knew. We all knew. I'm not going to. It's more that kind of stuff is for the purposes of communication in the hospital. I didn't think I'd be here.
You charted on numerous occasions that Maya was a 10 out of 10 on pain, did you not?
I would have to see the charting and see what that was.
Do you remember any of the scores you gave for that?
Not offhand. I'd have to see it.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to find the actual number, but you did show. Okay. You did charge grimace, frowned, withdrawn. That ring a bell. You did chart frequent chin quiver, clenched jaw, grimaces.
Your Honor, we'll object. We would appreciate it if the witness could see what the nurse is reading from.
If she wants it, I certainly will show it to her.
I do remember I do remember when I was doing the nursing admission, the admission assessment, and Mrs. Kowalski was at my side. And when we got to this part with the pain, Mrs. Kowalski is the one who told me, yes, this, that, and I remember that distinctly. So I don't know. So she told me when I first came in, like, how does? I mean, we asked all the, the parents, but this time Mrs. Kowalski was next to me. Usually, the parents are like on the couch or something. But and I'll ask the parent, how does the child convey pain? Some kids will, bite on their blankie or whatever. So we ask the parents so that we know what to look for. And that's where that originated. So Mrs. Kowalski told me when she first came in, we were checking which boxes to check.
Do I?
Which one?
1001. Now, you've got, I believe, you've testified to about all of those. Is it your testimony now that Beata Kowalski told you to put all those down?
And Mrs. Kowalski told me when she first came in, when I asked how does Maya exhibit pain, and she went through each one and said, yes, this one, this one, this one, this one. And so then I continued on that that's how she exhibits pain. Yeah, I didn't see her frequent chin quiver, but I know Mrs. Kowalski's like, yes, this was affirm this. And so,
Okay, so some critical cross there. You've got your charts, right? You're looking at your charts, and then you have the testimony of the nurse on the stand, and there's some glaring errors there. And I can tell you right now, when you're a young associate at a civil firm, you're looking at medical records until you can't see straight, and you're cursing at people you actually like. It is a boring, horrible work, but there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's very important. And I think this witness saying, hey, I wouldn't chart everything in there. I wouldn't put the F-bombs, the AHs, or any of those other things. I think that's BS, to use her vernacular. I think it will be in a lot of those charts if it is important because it reflects the interaction between the patient, and that may have something to do with treatment. Bob Mata's here, Catherine Lozardo. Bob, am I right about that? It doesn't surprise me to read a chart with that kind of back and forth actually documented, and the fact she didn't do it here, what do you think?
I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, in terms of a patient's demeanor, I think it's critical, and that obviously, if she's being profane in terms of, her questions, or, when she's being touched, if she's yelping out and screaming profanities, I mean, how do you not chart that? I think that it's kind of par for the course with everything that has not happened in this case that should have happened in that hospital. It's just more of the same. So I think that ultimately, again, these witnesses the defense is trotting out there, I don't know how helpful they are, to be honest with you.
Catherine, so if you're dealing with this witness and you're challenging her, as cross is being done here, and I think it's very helpful, what else can you get out of this witness? Because she was key to the intake or early treatment of Maya.
Well, the key is how her perception of Beata was. If I was the defense, and during the rebuttal, what was her key evaluation of Beata? How much more so was she interfering? But during cross, I'd want to know, why is it that you were doubting the mother who was there and who was agitated because her daughter had a 10-10 pain scale? Wouldn't you think that a mom who knows her child more than you do would be extremely agitated with that kind of pain level of their children?
Yeah,
so there's a lot you can get out from her.
I think you're right to point out she, in the charts, did say the pain level was 10 out of 10. So she had to believe her at some point, unless there was an annotation like, well, I don't believe it's 10, but she says it's bad, so I'm putting it 10. She didn't do that. So interesting as this case continues to unfold. Again, we're in the defense case in the Kowalski civil matter against Johns Hopkins.